All right, welcome to the Aramir Roundtable. Today's the 29th of January, 2025. A special guest, Joey. He's come up with a really nice implementation of the swing breakout structure trading pattern from Stoic Trader on YouTube. And I've been using it for, geez, I think since October. I'm quite pleased with it. I've been live streaming it, and it's doing quite well as a really nice equity growth chart. I'll show you later, but I'm really impressed with it, and I see a lot of people have been joining Joey's Discord and signing up with his product, and I think you'll like it too. But Joey, welcome. It's really nice to have you here.
Yes, thanks for having me. Very excited to share SBS with everybody today. If you haven't heard what SBS is, it is from, again, as Tom mentioned, Stoic Trader on YouTube. So if you want to learn more about it, that'd probably be a good place to start as well, because he is the creator of the strategy. But anyway, my name's Joey. Been trading for about 4 years. Got into automated trading about 2 years ago. And yeah, me and my developer made the swing breakout sequence SBS strategy about 6 months ago and just released it in October. So we're going to go over what that is today. So give you the basis of the model, and then we'll show you how some of the members are doing, and then we'll show you what it actually looks like and how you can use it as just a regular trading tool if you want as well. So let's jump into it right here. So we'll just go on a blank chart, and I'm going to explain some of these steps here just with text. So the swing breakout sequence is about a 4 to 6 step model, depending on kind of which variant of the model that you want to trade. Our software trades what's called the golden SBS model, which I'll explain a little bit later, but it's just a 4 step, pretty simple process. So we'll jump into it. Okay, so the first step of this swing breakout sequence model is going to be a breakout. Okay, so all you're looking for is a breakout from a swing high or low. Okay, so pretty simple, and we can dive into the chart, just any sort of breakout. Okay. The second step of the model is just going to be a retracement to the breakout zone. Breakout zone. Okay, so that'd be number one. Okay, and we'll go over that as well. Number three, you're going to look to move back above, move above the high or low of number one. Okay, and then number four is a move below or above number two's high or low. And then this is where you would enter the golden SBS, which is a 0.618 fib. Okay. So if you're wanting to learn the model, I would take a screenshot of this. And then again, we'll explain this in all the trades here. Okay. So we can dive into the chart and kind of look for some stuff. I haven't looked at the chart too much today, but we can look at a general example. Well, first let's map out just it with a path tool. Okay. So let's say the market is trending. Okay. Just like this. Okay, I'll mark all this out first, actually. So say this is a high, we would want to break out above it. Okay, so we broke out from this high. We're up here. We retrace lower into this line. You know, if you mark this out horizontally, the breakout zone would be right here. So retrace down to this. That's step two. Okay. Step three, we move above the high or low of number one. So we move above in this case because we're moving up. We move above the breakout, which was right here. So we move above, and now that would be step three. Step four, we move below or above number two. So this was step one. This was step two. So now I'd be looking for pretty much down here. Okay. Boom. And then let's do that. Okay. So let's mark this out with some numbers for everybody. Okay. So your breakout would be right here. Okay. I can change the color of this maybe to something. So this would be your breakout. Okay, we broke out. This is your number one. Really simple. That's your breakout. Number two, we retrace to the breakout zone. So this red line is our breakout zone. Okay, so we'll put that. That's number two. Okay, number three, we move above the high or low of number one. In this case, it's the high because we broke to the upside. Okay, so this is above the high of number one. So this would be our number three. Now from this point, once you see that number three form, you would take your fib retracement tool and draw it from the previous low to the high of number three. So we'll draw it from this low right here to the high of number three, which is right here. Okay. And now you can see number four says move below or above number two. So in this case, we move below number two on the way back down to the 0.618 fib. So the 618 fib is right here. It's known as the golden level. Okay. And you would enter long on this 0.618. Okay. You can do this for manual trading too if you'd like. Okay. And then you put your stop loss at the one, so below at the low of that fib retracement. And then you have some options to scale. A very common scale is at the 0.236, which we have in our strategy, which we can show. And then also the zero, which is just the top of the fib, or a 2-to-1 risk reward or whatever you'd like. Okay. But that is the basis of the model. Okay. So if you're learning the model, I would take a big screenshot of this whole thing right here, and that would be perfect to start learning. Okay, so now we can probably dive into the actual chart. This can be used on any time frame. Okay, any time frame, 1 minute, 15 second, 5 minute, 4 hour if you like to swing trade. It's all up to you. Okay. So let's dive into an actual chart. Okay, so first thing that's catching my eye right here, this low right here. If we mark out this low, what happens right here? Right, we break out. That'd be your number one. Okay. Number two, we just retrace back into the breakout zone. So the next kind of swing point before we start to move down again, that'd be right here. Right. So that's our step two. We retrace to the breakout zone, which is, yeah, just this whole zone right here. If you want to mark it out with a whole box, whatever you want, this is the breakout zone. Okay. Number three, we need to move above the higher low of number one. In this case, because we're moving lower, we would move below the low. So that'd be your number three at this low. Now, again, once you see this number three, take your fib retracement tool, mark out the most recent higher low. Okay. If you don't know how to use a fib tool, I would just look it up. Okay. So we'd mark it out from this high to this low. And then what happens? We move up. We move above number two right here. You can see that. And we can enter right on this 0.618. Okay. Stop loss goes at the high of the fib, and full target can be down here at this number three. Okay. This just happened live like maybe an hour ago. Okay. 2 hours ago. And you can see again, where did we bounce? Right? Where did we initially bounce? We bounced at the 0.236. Right? Look, all this bouncing right at the 0.236, which is why this is a perfect spot to scale, right? But this happens every day. Okay, you can break it down into smaller time frames if you want and see little SBS trades inside of all this, right? I'm sure if you raise it to a bigger time frame, like a 5 minute chart, you could probably find stuff as well on higher time frames. So, like if we look here, this is also popping out in front of me here. Breakout from here. Okay, I'm going to draw this line all the way across. Okay, so breakout to the upside, pretty strong breakout. This was on Monday of this week on a 5 minute chart. Okay, so we'll mark this number one. Okay, number two, we just need to return to this breakout zone. I would mark that as pretty much right here. Okay, number three, we move above the higher low. So in this case, the high gets broken over here, which is the next day, number three. Now what do? Right? We take our fib tool, draw out from this low before the breakout to the number three high, and look, where do we go? Right? You could tell the bias of the day right here. We move down, drop. There's your four right on that 0.618 level, right? If you wanted to, you could take a long there on a 5 minute chart, right? And there's your win. You can see even at this 0.236 how we did have a bit of a pullback, right? So that is the golden SBS model. Okay, you can break it down any time frame. Okay, again, you can screenshot that if you want. Now let's jump into the actual auto trader and let's see. Let's show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so today we have $500, as you can see, of profit on the 15-second 48 range chart. This is just on sim today because it's FOMC today. But yes, so let's just dive into it. Okay, the most common chart I would say is the 32 range chart. So we'll kind of full screen this chart and I'm going to explain what everything means. Okay, so
Yeah, I love that chart, by the way. That's what I live stream.
yep, 32 range, definitely the most common chart for sure. So to start it off, I'll even show everybody the settings that we use today. That I think this is pretty much the same that Tom uses here on live stream. So I start out with a 9:32 start time, so you can choose your start times, change it to the days you want to trade. Okay, just some display options. These are just more of the buttons and stuff on the side and the pivots on the chart. Those are cosmetics. Now we have some other profit settings. Okay, so you can scale out at multiple points. You can scale out at custom risk rewards, all this, right? Most people, I would say, do the 0.236 and 2 to 1 or 0.236 and 0. Okay, that's probably the most common. I check the break even stops. Once it hits our first TP, our stop automatically moves to break even. Okay. Now, this is a cool thing about the software that I don't think tons of softwares incorporate is the risk per trade. We You can customize this to whatever you want. So if you want to risk only $100 per trade, you could do that. If you want to risk $700 per trade, you could do that, right? I risk 400 to 300 to 400 usually. Okay. And then we also incorporate trailing stops. So I have a trailing stop set up. So once it gets 45% to my full target, that's what this 0.45 is. So 45% to my full target, the stop starts trailing 60 ticks behind the current price. Okay. And then the rest of this, everyone pretty much leaves at default. So everyone pretty much gets the same trades as long as you're on the same chart. So that's pretty much it for those settings. We can re-enable here. You can see we are on MNQ 32 range. Now, one thing to keep in the back of your head is the MNQ and NQ do actually have different different swing points. So it's not going to be exactly the same price, even though the charts pretty much they are identical. The swing point price will be slightly off. So since this is a swing point strategy, right, the swing breakout sequence, you will get slightly different trades. Not all the time, but a lot of times if you're trading NQ versus MNQ. Okay. Now, if we let's just look at the bear chart really quick. Okay. So when it's enabled, this is what your chart will look like. There is green and red dots on the chart, and these are just identifying highs and lows, like pivot points. Okay. So don't have to overcomplicate this. It's literally just lows and highs. And it'll be different on different charts because the 32 range chart is reading the chart differently than a 15-second chart or a 1-minute chart, right? So the dots will be in different spots. Now on the right side in our chart trader, we have some buttons, right? We have long and short, so you can turn them on or off, a break even button, a flatten position button, the basic buttons. Cool thing is we have the pivots. Okay, so turn that on. It looks fancy. It's very simple, and you don't have to overcomplicate it. Okay, so all these are doing is connecting the pivots with lines. Now, the cool feature about this is when a trade potentially could occur, you'll get a big line up with a horizontal line, and that identifies a potential short. Okay, so the red will identify a potential short trade, and if it's green, it'll be below price with a horizontal green line. Okay, so you can use this as a regular tool as well. Um, we can see some of the trades today, maybe, unless I disabled it so we can't see the trades. But we could just look at the chart here. So you can see all these red horizontal lines were potential short trades. So I believe we got into this short trade this morning. I do remember this short trade right here. So we got entered right around 21,541. and then we hit our first TP. Okay, so first TP was about right here around 520. So it was about a 20 point trade. Okay, and our if you actually draw out the fib, I believe, or was this the stop loss was probably right up here, and I can't remember off the top of my head because it's not on the chart anymore, but short here. And then, yeah, first DP here, and we got trailed out from our trailing stop in profit. Okay, so that was only a couple $100 win. And you can see if we didn't get this short trade for whatever reason, you would have actually gotten a long right here. You can see this horizontal line down with, that's a vertical line down, horizontal green to the side, and we bounced right from there. So if you were in this short trade on the way down, you could have just clicked flatten if you really wanted to hop out at this new trade level. Okay, and you can see if you weren't in the short, you would have actually gotten automatically entered long here, and we did end up moving up pretty good there. Okay, and not every trade will be taken if it hits this. It's just a potential opportunity. Okay, usually if let's say this green horizontal forms, but there's another pivot point that starts to form before it hits this, it would usually cancel out that trade. So like this trade right here, there was a potential short here, but we got really close to it and then started to move away and it formed a green dot. So another pivot. So the next time we moved up to it, it did not enter here. It formed a new one here. That makes sense. So if we keep scrolling, we did have, I believe, a loss here. So again, trading, you can't win every trade, right? The software is meant for the long term. Can't win all the time. This was a long trade right here. It knifed down pretty quickly, which on our new update, you'll be able to actually do buy stops. So this wouldn't have happened basically because on our new update, you'll be able to, as I said, do buy stops. So it'll wait until price returns back and breaks above this. So you wouldn't get limit ordered entered here. You'd wait for price to come down and then come back up. So that if it does knife, you do get saved. Okay. In this case, we got entered here. Stop loss was here, right? So we did stop out. Now we are still green on the day. A trade happened not too long ago. But you can see there's all these horizontal lines on the chart, right? This trade we got about 1 or 2 ticks away, it looks like, from an entry. But again, you can use this as a tool, remember? So if you see this short and then you see us not touch it, but we start to reject, you could take a short, right? Off of your manual trading if you'd like. And you can see we
And,
do move down quite a bit.
and one thing I'll use it for, so if you have that first red bar at the top, right about what, 1033 or so, 1034. Abel Trent has this concept of a sweet, I think it was his, what they call it, sweet spot trade, where say it's market's moving up and you want to get short, then you wait for it to start heading down. So once you see that horizontal red bar and you see that bar at the top starting to head down, that's where I would think about getting short because you want
Yeah.
to add some momentum in the direction you want to trade.
Yep. So you can definitely just use it as a tool if you'd like, right?
Exactly. I
Um,
also use it to help set stops too. So if I'm in that short you had the other bet earlier, where that had that green horizontal thing right at a
oh
couple
yeah, at
bars
the at
after.
the beginning over here. Yep.
Yeah, I'll use right there. I'll use that as like a target. I'll put it a few points above that lower green horizontal bar and use that as a stop or a target.
Yep. Lots of cool things with those. Just some horizontal lines, right?
Yeah,
Um,
makes it super easy.
yep. Yep. So that's kind of the gist of that, right? And we can show you some other charts while we're at it here. Let's pull up the 48 range chart because this one just was a one and done trade this morning. So let's show this. So right here, you can see we have a lot of potential short trades forming, right? These horizontal lines. But what gets hit first? We see it actually charts out for you. Once the trade enters, you can see the pivot point. So this is where it was reading the trade from. So we had a pivot, we had a breakout, number one, number two, number three, number four. Okay, and it enters on this 0.618. Okay, a little bit of slippage, no big deal. Stop loss was down here. It did miss the stop loss by like 2 ticks, which is lucky, but happens. And then we ended up running and we gained, yeah, entry was at 21,508 and full TP was at 21,539. So about 30 points of profit there. And again, that's all on whatever risk reward that you'd like. So um, lots of potential there, right? And I turned it off after that just because it's FOMC today, but you can see there's another potential long trade here. We moved up from that. Another potential long here that we got about a point away from. We did move up. Another long here. We moved up a little bit. Hit this short trade, move down, right? So you can use it just for manual if you do desire that, right? Um, and again, this happens on all the other charts too. So we had that exact same trade actually on the 15-second chart this morning. Literally the exact same entry and everything. So you can see entry at 509 and target there. But it read the pivots slightly different, right? But still took the same trade. So does that on lots of charts. You can also use 1 minute chart. You can use range charts are more common just because they take more trades. And I think a lot of people like more trades. Although the 1 minute chart over the 2024 was about $37,000 of profit if you risked about 500 per trade, which is quite a bit, but it's a little slower. So you can see 1 minute chart. You can see our numbers over here where it was reading the trades. So we have our step one, step two, step three, entry here, step four, and it got a partial win, and then we trailed out for a profit. So yeah, we hit about 27 points of profit, and then it started trailing, and we got stopped out for a profit. So not too bad. Then obviously, if you kept it on or kept it enabled, so you could see the pivots. There's some other potential shorts over here, um, all over the place, right? So they form all the time. Doesn't mean you have to use them, but they're a good tool. So yeah, that's pretty much the software though. Anything you think I should add, Tom, or
Have you
um,
tested any really long term, like, hourly or daily charts?
I have not tested those. I think it would take too long to form pretty much. I mean, you might be waiting for a setup for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? Could be good for swing trading, but you would have to tune some of the settings. So if you look at the settings in here, you would probably have to modify a little bit of the sensitivities or the max bars between points. So everyone leaves these at default right now. And all this is, right now it's allowing 50 bars between points one and two, right? And you can change that. You can see it actually looks like because I just disabled it and re-enabled it, it did turn it back on. So we are in a short trade right now, actually, um, which is fine because we're on sim, but um, and it's only 30 minutes till FOMC, so definitely should not be trading right now.
No.
But that's okay. But you can see again, little example has our step one, two, three enters on this horizontal line and has our targets, right? And if we don't like it, we can always click flatten, dive out of it, right? That trade shouldn't have actually happened because, you know, I just re-enabled it. But um, yeah, that's pretty much it though.
Well, and I put a couple links in the chat. This airmere.com/SBS will take you right to the order page if you want to get this. It is a NinjaTrader strategy. NinjaTrader is free to use if you don't trade through it. But if you don't already have a NinjaTrader license, an easy way is just sign up with a prop firm like Apex and spend like 20 bucks, and then get an account, and they'll give you a NinjaTrader license. So it is a NinjaTrader strategy. And I do have a performance spreadsheet that I've been tracking my live streams with. And do you want me to share that, or you want to go over the Discord stuff first?
I can go over both while I'm just sharing. So we do
Okay.
have, yeah, the Discord testimonials. people post in here every day. Obviously, not every day is a winning day, but we do have a lot of people getting a lot of profits. And I mean, you can scroll up here for eternity pretty much. Yeah, people passing evals and stuff, which is awesome. And we have a few people starting to get some payouts, which, payouts are slow and steady, but they are getting some payouts. And I mean, it pays for the software. So that is good stuff. And here I'll pull up your live streaming metrics here if
Oh
you
yeah,
want to
if you
talk
got
about
it.
that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So I started live streaming mid-December, and you can see the results have been pretty good. We're up almost 500 today. I've been using $500 of risk. I just changed it to 400, but it's about 64% of the time you're going to have a winning day. It's got positive expectancy. It's got the right kind of equity chart, lower left, upper right. The drawdowns aren't too bad. It did have a little bit of a period where it was kind of flat, but it'll have some really nice days, like the last 2 or 3 days we're up, what's that, about $2,500. And on your losing days, you're not losing that much. So you can see the average winner versus the average loser. Then your expected profit or loss per day is plus $178 per day. So and I have all the settings that I've got that I'm using on the live stream, and then all the links there. So if you want to order us, that top link in the middle. If you want to share this or look at it any time, is that SBS Performance goes right to this sheet. And then the other one is the link for the live stream that I do every day, starting about the market open. So that's where all these numbers come from.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. Doesn't win all the time, as you can see on that chart, but if you have 5 losing days, you could make 5 losing days back in 1 or 2 good days, right? So,
Absolutely. So, I mean, the big thing is the average loser is less than the average winner, and your win percent's higher than 50%. So it all works out to a positive expectancy.
yep, looks good.
All right. So it's a really interesting concept, this swing breakout structure. And I know, Joey, you were trading it just manually before that for a number of months, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually learned about it probably in August or September, and is about a month after manually trading it. I talked to my developer Ben, and we got on the automation side because it's a pretty structured strategy, so it wasn't terribly complicated to automate. So
And one thing I like, it's like you say in, I think a video you did a while ago, it's based on price structure. So there's no indicators or anything else. It's just how is the market moving? And it can be the euro, gold, natural gas, equities, it's just a price stream. It's like I had a class with Joe Ross years ago, and he had a chart. He's talking about Ross hooks here and Ross hooks there and trader stick entry. And they said, oh, by the way, this is a chart of the water levels of some river. So it doesn't really matter what you're trading. It's a price chart that is taking the structure of that and making the trades based off of that.
yep, that's exactly right. It's all based off of market structure. There's no indicators or anything. So, if you balance it out over the long term, it'll most likely play in your favor, right? So,
Absolutely. So I don't see any questions. If you have any, put them in the chat. But thanks very much for coming on, Joey. Really appreciate it. I signed up for a lifetime license. I think it was October, and I haven't regretted it. So it's been a really great tool in my tool belt, and I'm very happy with it. And lots of people have joined me. You can see all the people in Joey's Discord. So it's very successful, and I'm happy for your success, and happy to share spread the word, so to speak. So.
yes, thanks for having me. And of course, looking forward to more green days.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks, Joey. Thanks, everyone. And we will see you next time.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.